Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Next Up Narcissism. I hope everybody had a wonderful holiday season and a healthy and happy new year. As we go into 2025, I wanted to give you an episode on New Year's resolutions and why I feel that New Year's resolutions aren't great for everyone. For some of us, they're amazing. They help us reset and all of that. But for some of us, they don't work. And so I want to talk to those of you who are having difficulty keeping your New Year's resolutions or who are scared to set New Year's resolutions, where I kind of give you some alternatives. Those being maintain, modify, and make another date. 3 really helpful and healthy strategies to work on healthy patterns of behavior and healthy habits as you go into this new year. Everybody have a great 2025, and we have a bunch of really cool things in store for you. Hi, everyone. It's Dr. Z. Welcome to another episode of Next Up Narcissism. And this is our first episode of 2025, so happy New Year. I purposely waited until after the new year because I wanted this episode to give you a little bit of time to mess up your resolutions. So today's episode is all about New Year's resolutions and why, and for those of you who follow me on Instagram know this, why I'm not a huge fan of New Year's resolutions. And I may be a minority in this, but just hear me out. So every year, January 1st, new year, everybody's excited. Everybody is ready to just start fresh and just take on new goals and new hobbies and all of these things. And that's great. And I encourage that so much, but there's a couple things. Number 1, here's why New Year's resolutions doesn't work for everyone. I'm not saying that this doesn't work for a lot of you. I just want to touch on why it doesn't work for everybody. Because when people see, especially on social media, people posting all of these amazing things that they're doing in New Year's resolutions, we're only posting the good stuff. Let's be honest here. Nobody's posting their failures. So I want to touch on that because it's very, there's a big misconception that everybody's setting these New Year's resolutions and everybody's achieving them. They're not. They're not. But instead of talking about it it's such a pessimistic view, I want to talk about what we can do instead. Okay? Because I don't want you listening to this episode or watching this episode and thinking, all right, cool, I don't have to change shit. You do, but not in the way you think you do. So let's talk about why New Year's resolutions doesn't always work for everybody. Okay. So I'm going to list this in terms of the issues with this. Number 1, when we set New Year's resolutions, we tend to set goals that are extremely unrealistic for a couple of reasons. 1, we feel really good. We came out of the holiday season. We're bloated. We're tired. We're agitated. And we just want to start fresh. And so in that mindset, it makes sense that we would say, all right, you know what? I'm going to the gym 5 days a week. Let's go. Or I'm going to eat healthy. I'm going to cook every meal. I'm not going to eat any more crap. Or I'm going to, do all my billing and chart notes and all of that stuff on time. And I'm going to get to sleep on time. I'm going to have a sleep regimen that I'm never going to break. And a lot of the goals that people set tend to be dichotomous, meaning they're all or nothing. The other thing is that they set them way too high. Way too high. If you have never liked going to the gym like myself, and I set a New Year's resolution, I'm going to go to the gym 4 times a week. But if you ask me how many times I'm going now, I'm going to tell you 0. Okay. So I'm going 0 times and I set a goal or a resolution to go 4 times a week. I'm telling you now, that's not going to happen. Again, for most people, that's not going to happen. If you do it, great. But I want to talk about why that doesn't always work. The other reason is that people often set New Year's resolutions or goals that aren't their own. They set resolutions that they think they're supposed to set, like going to the gym, like eating healthy. Not that those things are not important, but you're actually more successful if you work on those things gradually over time, rather than giving yourself this drop dead date where you're just going to start a new lifestyle change. It has to be gradual. And so we take on too much too quickly and expect immediate results. As a society, we're lazy and we want things to happen yesterday. That's not going to happen like that. And so you have to give yourself a very large grace period and a very big learning curve and a very long time to habituate to this new lifestyle or this new change that you're setting. Problem is that when you set these goals or resolutions for yourself and you don't achieve them, you feel like crap. And then when you feel like crap, the likelihood of you starting up again or trying again decreases every single time because that self-efficacy or that feeling that you can accomplish something isn't there. But not only is it not even there, you're not even giving it the opportunity to grow. So there's a couple things. Going into the new year, ask yourself, if you've set New Year's resolutions, what's the likelihood that I'm going to stick to this? Is this too much to take on at once? Do I have the resources right now to take this on? That could be financial means. Maybe you don't have the money to start taking extra classes. Maybe you don't have the money to go to the gym. Maybe you don't have the money to eat healthy. Eating healthy is extremely expensive. So there's a lot of financial structures that have to be in place. What if you don't have the social support? What if you're trying to quit smoking or quit drinking, but you don't have any support whatsoever? It would make sense to line up the support first before you engage in that so that you have that in place to make it less likely that you're not going to achieve that. And the other thing is, do your goals or your resolutions, are they in line with your values? Do you even value going to the gym? Do you value being a healthy person? And if you do value a healthy person, that's going to look different for everybody. That's going to be different for you than it is for me, than it is going to be for someone else. Because what if you eat pretty healthy, but because that's your norm, you think you should be eating healthier, right? So if you make your goal to eat healthier, but your baseline is already so healthy, and then let's say my baseline is, I eat McDonald's, I don't, but let's just say I eat McDonald's 5 times a week. My healthy may be eating McDonald's 2 times a week just to start. But if my goal is the same as yours, to cook my own meals 5 days a week, when I've never done that, I don't have the finances to do it in the way that you're doing it, and I don't have the structure or the social support or whatever the case, or the time. Maybe you work, crazy hours. Maybe you have to food prep a different day. Maybe you can't cook every night. So there's a lot of variables in place that I want to caution people about to make sure you have that set up before you engage in these goals. So what can you do instead? So there's 3 M's. All you have to remember are 3 M's. Maintain, modify, make another date. Maintain, modify, make another date. These are 3 things I want you to remember about setting resolutions as you go into 2025. The first one, maintain. We always think that resolutions or goals have to involve changing something or doing something different or adding something to our already extremely full plate. Because I don't know about you, but if I take on one damn thing, every ball I have in the air is just going to fall. I can't right now. So if I took on the New Year's resolution of I'm going to put away my laundry every single time it's out of the dryer, as soon as it's out of the dryer, I'm going to fail miserably. But let's say currently I fold my laundry twice a week. Put it away, let's say twice a week. It's going to be unrealistic for me, given my time, my schedule, to do it 7 days a week. Why would I? It's not going to happen. But can I maintain what I'm already doing? Can I maintain 2 days a week or 3 days a week and then gradually add later on? Don't forget that maintaining an existing goal or maintaining an existing healthy behavior is just as much a resolution as it is anything else. Let's take weight loss. Let's say you want to lose 10 pounds, right? And so you lose 10 pounds. Your resolution may be to lose another 5. But what if your New Year's resolution is to maintain the weight that you've lost? And in fact, studies have shown that when you focus on weight maintenance rather than weight loss, you actually tend to lose a little bit more weight. So maintain existing healthy goals. That's number one. Don't forget that that's an option. It's not always about changing something. The second thing is modify. Let's say that I've eaten healthy 3 days a week, and I've been able to maintain that for 6 months. Maybe it's something in the new year that I choose to modify. So modify isn't about taking on something else or something new where there's this massively steep learning curve. So if I've never taken yoga in my life and I'm totally overwhelmed, maybe I don't want to take something brand new. I don't have the mental capacity for it. I don't have the emotional capacity. I don't have the space. So maybe instead what I do is I modify an existing healthy habit I have. So maybe I play tennis 3 times a week, and that's what I do. So I'm going to modify that. Can I add another day? Can I add another hour? Can I add another 30 minutes? Can I play with different people? So you're keeping an existing healthy behavior, but you're just modifying it slightly. But make sure that modification is within reason. If I'm playing tennis 2 days a week and I say, all right, I'm going to play 7, well, I'm going to fail at that because I literally can't play 7 days a week. So make sure that even when you modify it, you're doing it within reason. And the third thing is make another date. So here's where I have fun with this. So I get that New Year's resolutions and all of that come with the new year. I get it. New, makes sense. But if you don't have the resources in place, the support, the finances, the mental capacity, whatever the case may be, the time, just your own personal mental resources. What if you're sick? What if you just feel like crap? Maybe January 1st, you're not ready yet for whatever reasons. So instead of starting January 1st and feeling like you need to do all this now, like what is it about January 1st? Just because we say it's the new year? I mean, it's such an arbitrary date. Why don't you pick May 1st? Right? Which happens to be my best friend's birthday, but we'll wish her happy birthday in May. But let's just say you start May 1st. What's wrong with that? Absolutely nothing. You could start February 6th. I mean, you could start whenever. Pick a date to start, but it doesn't have to be January 1st if you are not prepared in a way that's going to prevent you from failure. Okay? And make sure that when you set that date, you have the things in place that you need, but make sure, again, what you're setting is achievable. Don't try to tackle the world. We have too much on our shoulders. Pick something small. If you're going to start something new, pick something with a small learning curve. Pick something that you're already kind of familiar with. Maintain something or modify something. Make it simple. You will end up accomplishing more in small, simple steps than you will taking one giant leap to accomplish something massive. Because it isn't about achieving the goal. Because how many of us have tried to lose weight and we lost our 10 pounds or 5 pounds or whatever the case may be, or we achieved our goal of getting an A in a class? How many of us can maintain that? It's not just about resolution setting. Hell, it's not even about achieving the resolution or achieving the goal. It's about maintaining it. We forget that. You have to maintain as well, and maintain for a long time. You can't maintain something that is brutal to accomplish. It just won't work. So you have to do very small steps. I like to say, and for those of you who follow me know that I say this all the time, insultingly small goals. Insultingly small. Start so small that you're saying to yourself, I can do more than this. This is pathetic. I don't want you to do any more. Because it's not about achieving the task. It's about developing what we call a sense of mastery, which means a belief in yourself that you're able to accomplish something. When you get that sense of mastery, the likelihood of you completing an additional step becomes significantly greater. The other thing too is, let's say, a lot of us said, we're going to work out more or whatever, but then we get sick. We get, whatever our kids bring home to us, and we get, some random illness from the preschool that's getting passed around. And we can't go to the gym that day, or we can't play tennis that day, or we can't cook that night because we feel like crap. If your goal is so large or your resolution is so extreme, missing a day because you're sick feels like you need to play catch up, and it's just too far gone. But if it's something really small that you're doing gradually over time, missing a day or not being able to do something doesn't sound or feel that overwhelming. Okay, I missed one day. I'll just pick it up again tomorrow. And that's the type of goal I want you guys to set. Something that when you miss it doesn't snowball into, well, I missed today. I may as well miss tomorrow. Or I already ate like crap this morning. May as well eat crap again today since I ruined the day. And, that kind of thinking, it really gets us into trouble. So let's go through this maintain, modify, and make another date. I want to give you some examples of them and how they're different than some of the ways that you may have been thinking before. The one thing I do want to say, though, before we talk about what these types of goals look like, is the idea that your goals, no matter how big or how small, they need to be something that is that's observable and that you can actually kind of count and see. So, for example, how many days did I eat healthy? Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Okay, 3 days. That's bam, bam, bam. I know it. I did it. I see it. 3. Something tangible. You can see it. You can check it off a list. And if I was videoing you, I would be able to see that you cooked 3 nights that week. A goal like I'm going to run 3 miles every week. I can calculate that. I can see, did I run it? Yes or no. So your behavioral goals and resolutions really should have yes or no responses. Did I do it? Yes or no. And the reason why that's so important is because you can actually do the things that you're tasking yourself with. For example, I'm going to be social 2 nights a week. Did I do it? Yes or no? Now, this is why it's important to make sure that you can respond with a yes, I did it, no, I didn't do it. Because a lot of times people come into my office and they'll say, okay, my goal is to be happy, right? Or let's say your New Year's resolution is to be more understanding. I don't know what the hell that means. Because if my resolution is to be more understanding, that looks so different than your resolution of being more understanding. Because maybe your baseline of being understanding is way higher than mine, or mine's way higher than yours. And the way I manifest behaviorally what understanding looks like may be very different from what understanding looks like to you. So I won't be able to do a checklist and say, was I understanding, yes or no? It's too vague. But if I can write down what understanding means to me, that's different. So let's say understanding means I'm going to follow up with the person in a text message to reiterate what they said. Or I'm going to make sure that I call the person twice a day to discuss whatever it is we were talking about. Or I'm going to text them every night, are you okay? Whatever it looks like for you. And then when you break it down into those behaviors, you could say, okay, did I text that person twice? Yes or no? Yes, I did. No, I didn't. But if I say, was I understanding today? That is so vague. And the same thing goes for the idea of happy. I have so many patients tell me their goal is to be happy. And I jokingly say, okay, well, me too, all the time, 24/7, let's be happy. It's not going to happen. So I ask them, okay, so what does happiness look like? If I was videoing you, what would you be doing to let me know that you were happy? And they may say something like, well, I'll feel good about myself. Okay, but again, I can't see that. I don't know what that is. I can't quantify that. So you'll say, okay, well, feeling good about myself or feeling happy, I would be going out more. Okay, well, how many times? I'd be going out 2 times a week. Okay, great. We can assess that. So did you go out 2 times this week socially? Yes or no? Yes, you did. No, you didn't. And if you did it, well, that going out twice a week falls under the larger umbrella of I'm going to be more social, right? So if your behaviors are in line with the larger umbrella abstract concept of more social or happier, then we know that your goals are in line with those resolutions, right? If your resolution is to, let's say, be happier, I don't know what that means. I don't know what that looks like for you. You don't know what it looks like for me. So you have to make sure you expand on that. What does being happy look like for you? Being happy may be, I'm in the garden once a week. Or I'm in the garden. Let's start there. Okay, were you in the garden, yes or no? Yes, you can check it off. No, you can check it off. I want to be in the garden twice a week. Did I go into the garden twice a week? Yes, I did, or no, I didn't. Check. Which one? If you went into the garden and you stay there and you did it twice during the week, you have achieved your goal, which falls under your personal concept of happiness. If you take anything from this episode, take this. A mood can never be a goal. I repeat, a mood can never be a goal. Happiness can never be a goal. Just can't. It's too abstract. It doesn't mean the same thing to people. It's too hard to measure. Half the time, we don't even know what that means. But the biggest reason why a mood can't be a goal is because a mood is a moving target. If I wake up and I'm in a great mood, but on my way to work, I lose my phone, now I am pissed and I'm in a horrible mood. Stay out of my way type mood. I'm frazzled, I'm angry, I'm agitated, I'm anxious. So if my goal for the day was to be happy, did I just fail at my goal? The reason why it's so dangerous is because how many of us are happy all the time? I'm not happy 24/7. Sometimes I'm really annoyed, or sometimes I'm sad, or sometimes I'm anxious. And that's human. That's the human condition. I wouldn't expect anyone to be happy all the time. So you have to be careful with setting your mood as a goal because it's not obtainable all the time. Your goal should be to be able to fluctuate between these moods and at the same time still be able to accomplish what you need to accomplish. So were you able to be social and at the same time are you in a bad mood? Yes, I did. Okay. Then you achieved your goal. But remember, a mood is a moving target. You will never hit it and remain, right? We talk about maintenance. I just talked about that earlier. You can obtain, quote, your goal of happiness in a moment, but moments are fleeting, as are moods. And so you have to make sure that you work on maintaining it by way of behaviors that make you, quote, happy. If it's being more social, if it's cooking your own meals, if it's visiting relatives, if it's watching a certain TV program, if it's, choosing to lay in bed every day on Sunday, whatever, quote, makes you happy, those behaviors are what you need to maintain. Those behaviors are what you need to modify. And those behaviors are the ones that you want to break down into insultingly small steps so that when you pick your date, if it's not January 1st, you're able to actually feel a sense of self-efficacy and fulfillment. Okay. So let's talk about a maintenance goal. So we kind of talked about weight loss, right? So you lose weight and you lost 10 pounds, let's say, somehow before New Year's, and your goal for the new year is to maintain your weight for 6 months. Doesn't that sound a hell of a lot more reasonable than, okay, my New Year's resolution for January 1st is to lose another 10 pounds. Now listen, maybe you can. And maybe that goal works for you. And that's what I'm saying. This isn't true for everybody. That may work beautifully for you. But if you've been struggling to lose another pound after you've already lost 10 and you're really struggling to lose any more, I would focus on maintenance. Wouldn't focus on the other stuff. Obviously listen to your doctor, right? But my general point is that sometimes the goal that you've achieved, the hard part is maintaining it. It's like relationships, right? Like anybody can start dating. Anybody can get married. It's a whole different situation to maintain the relationship over time. Maintenance takes work. Maintenance is what the hard part is. And that's true for really any goal that you set or any resolution that you set. So the second one is modify. We talked about this already, but just so you know, modify an existing goal. Okay. So let's say that you love reading, and your resolution for the year is to read, let's say, 2 books a month, right? So 24 books in a year. And that's been your goal and you achieved it, right? You achieved your goal. Great. So this year coming up, you want to modify that. So let's say you want to do that again, but instead of adding on more books, because maybe you don't have the time. And if you add on more books, what if you fail? Let's say for your resolution, you want to read more books, but you don't have the time because reading 24 books was already difficult. So if you set your goal to read 30 books, you may fail at that because you don't have the time, you don't have the resources, whatever the case may be. You're busy. So instead of setting another goal that adds on, why don't we modify the existing goal that you already have? Instead of reading a certain genre, read another genre. Maybe you like mystery. Instead, read drama. Is that even a book category? Drama? I don't know. You can tell I read a lot, but let's just say romance. How about romance? Okay, that sounds better. So instead of reading thrillers or reading suspenseful novels, you're going to read romance novels. It's the same goal that you know you've achieved before. So the self-efficacy is there. It's totally doable. You're not adding anything more to your plate. You're just modifying an existing, already healthy habit. It is so important. And lastly, make another date. We talked about this, but let's say January 1st, like what if you just had surgery? What if someone in your family was sick? What if you were just on vacation? What if the holidays were absolutely beyond stressful and you're wiped out? See, this is why I never understood why after the holidays, it's a good idea to do resolutions on January 1st. My God, so many people need to decompress after the holidays. The thought of taking on a life-changing resolution is like mind-blowing to me. Why on earth would we do it then? Like, wait until the spring or wait until the summer. I don't know. Wait, just wait. It doesn't have to be January 1st just because everybody says January 1st. Because if you really think about it behaviorally, how many of you are absolutely exhausted after the holidays? I mean, I am. A lot of people that I speak to we're exhausted. We need a break. Why on earth would you use this time to start something new that has a huge learning curve? Now, listen, again, if that's for you, great, amazing, do it. I couldn't. I mean, the thought of starting something new right now after I just made it through the holidays with 3 kids is, I need them to go back to school and I need to get adjusted and reset and all of that before I'd even take on anything new. So pick another date. January 1st, when you really look at it, is so arbitrary. You may just not be ready. And after the holidays, people have no money left. They're tired. Like they're like, their eating habits are all out of whack. Their sleep's all out of whack. Readjust, settle in, and then you can start to change your behavior or modify it or maintain it if you want to. Also, I don't want people feeling like shit because they don't really want to have a resolution. I never set resolutions. I'll change my behavior, but I do it when I'm ready or when it makes sense. You know what? I'm not even going to say ready. Change your behaviors when it makes sense for you, because if you wait till you're ready, you may never change because no one, I'm just say no one. A lot of people aren't ready to change behaviors because it's really uncomfortable and it's scary. So I don't want to say wait until you're ready. I'm going to say do it when you have your stuff in place. You don't need to wait to feel like doing it. In fact, sometimes I encourage people not to wait because then you'll be waiting forever. Do it when it's necessary or when everything's in place, the structure's in place for you. So pick another date. There's literally no harm in that. What's the big deal if we pick another date? So again, just to review those 3 big things going into the new year. Okay, we want to either maintain, modify, or make another date, or do none of them because you're good where you're at. The last point I'll make is this. New Year's resolutions suggest that where you're at is bad and wrong and needs to be fixed and changed. It doesn't. Hence the maintenance or the modification. We're doing nothing at all. You are not deficient, bad, lazy, or, missing the mark if you don't have a New Year's resolution. Please understand that, because a lot of times we set these resolutions, we break them, or they're too big for us, like I said, we break them, feel like a failure, then the likelihood of doing something in line with that again decreases every time. Make it reasonable, make it manageable, make it observational, meaning you can check it off, yes or no, did I do this? Make it simple, make it easy, and make sure it's something in line with what you value. Taking on other resolutions because you think that's what you're supposed to do won't work in your favor. So again, for those of you who are able to set those January 1st resolutions and it works for you after the holiday season, amazing, keep at it, you're doing phenomenal. For those of you who can't, you're also doing great and doing phenomenal. And I just want people to be aware of that because we get so lost in this New Year's resolution thing. And it just, I think sometimes does a little bit more damage than good. So thank you for joining me. I hope everybody had a wonderful holiday and a fabulous New Year's. And here is to a happy and healthy 2025. We have some amazing guests lined up. I'm super excited for that and some big things coming this way. So I will speak to everybody soon, and I will see you next time on Next Up Narcissism. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Next Up Narcissism. I hope you found it useful, but most importantly, I hope you found it validating. Want to work one-on-one with me? Visit my website at drjamiezuckerman.com to book a personalized coaching session, and be sure to check out my on-demand workshops on topics like co-parenting with a narcissist, life after leaving, anxiety management strategies, and more. Again, that's drjamiezuckerman.com. You'll also find links to my interactive workbooks, merchandise, resources, and newsletter sign-up. Next Up Narcissism is as much your podcast as it is mine. I want to hear your feedback and what you want to hear. So make sure to leave a podcast review wherever you listen, or send an email to nextup@drjamiezuckerman.com. Again, that's nextup@drjamiezuckerman.com. Be sure to subscribe so that you never miss an episode. And as always, thank you so much for listening. Make sure to tune in next week to see what's up next on Next Up Narcissism.